Hi everybody and welcome to my Unruly Housewife channel. Today I am going to show you how to make some more embellishments for greetings cards, and these are going to be holographic or faux holographic technique embellishments. Some people, polymer clays, will call this Mica Shift, but the effect is of a kind of faux holographic effect. And as you can see, these things they look 3D, but they are actually smooth. There's a few little dents on the elephant, but like this. Perfectly smooth, but look, 3D. And people really like these. When I've put these on cards, the feedback has always been brilliant. And when I showed my boyfriend this one, and he felt that it was smooth, he said, "Oh wow." And believe me, that is a man who has expressed zero interest in polymer claying. So there you go. Now I'm going to sort of tell you what you need as we run through, because otherwise it's just too slow and boring. So first things first, we need a work surface. This is a ceramic tile. I make things on there. I put that straight in the oven to cook them. You could, on the other hand, use a piece of cardstock and put it on a baking tray. But you know, keep cooking and polymer claying apart from one another. So have a dedicated baking tray if you're going to. If you have a pasta machine, if you're a polymer clayer, you can put your clay through on number 2. If you don't use polymer clay normally, you can get 3 strips of cereal packet either side and use those to guide your rolling pin so that your clay comes out at the right thickness. The clay we're going to use is going to be metallic, and it has to say metallic, like metallic pearl, metallic pearl, metallic copper, metallic silver, or this metallic gold. I'm using Fimo, but I have heard that Primo is better for doing this. So, you know, the choice is yours. I'm in Europe, I get Fimo. If you use metallic pearl, I think Primo do some darker colours. Fimo do a couple. They look a bit wishy-washy. I haven't tried them. What I do if I want to make colours like this is I use the metallic pearl white, and then I just pop in some drops of alcohol ink to bring it up to the colour that I want. But I do make sure that the alcohol evaporates before I smush it into the clay, if that makes any sense. So remember, when we bake our clay, we want to use an oven thermometer, and if you've got one, brilliant, and if you haven't and you think you're going to do this a lot, you know, buy one, because you're going to cook to the manufacturer's instructions, and believe me, these are a lot more useful than your actual oven settings, which aren't as accurate. And you want to preheat your oven. Okay, that's out of the way. What else are we going to need? It's just a great long list of things, isn't it? Let's get down to business, as Eminem would say. This is the metallic gold, and if you have a look at it, I've left this side a little bit rough. You can see that there is a darkness and a kind of shadow about the clay there where it's rough. It's not all evened out. And what we need to do is to put the clay through the pasta machine or roll it over and over to make it even. Even in the sense that there's a kind of sheen on it. Now, I've done this loads of times, so you would want to do this several times. Even if you're rolling it, you want to fold it over and roll it and keep doing it in the same direction. And it doesn't matter about the edges, obviously, but where we're going to work, we want this lovely sheen where all the mica that is in the clay is sort of flattened and perfect. Primo has more mica in it. Now we will need to disrupt the mica in order to get that holographic effect. So I'm going to use this stamp and I'm going to spritz it, and I'm using a very shallow stamp. Now traditionally, I think when people do Mica Shift technique or this faux holographic technique, they would use a deep stamp to get a really sort of 3D look. But I want to make it easy. It's only for cards, and I want to just sand it off, really. I don't want to be cutting off with a knife. So I'm going to use a very shallow stamp, and believe me, you know, the effect is still going to be a good one. So if you look at that, that's that pattern, And it's the same pattern as this, but this is flat and that isn't. How do we get one to the other? Well, you would simply take the cutter, pop it over the clay. Notice I'm not taking it from the middle this time, I learnt from my last tutorial. And there we have it. Once this is baked in the oven, I will use wet and dry sandpaper. 400 is as low as you want to go really. 400 and 600 was all I used on the one that I made. 400 takes it down pretty quickly to being completely flat. 600 just polishes it off a little bit. I mean, you can go up, and there's 800, 1000, 1200, you know, you can go crazy, but that's as much as I used. You bake it, rub it down until you've got it exactly how you want it. Look how impressive that is. That's all you have to do. And then you can either rub on a little bit of Renaissance wax, which is what I used, or you can varnish it with some sort of varnish, which is what I did on this elephant. And it is that simple. I mean, it's so simple. And you will get this fabulous effect. And it doesn't look believable, does it? But you literally knock off all of the pattern on this and you are left with a bruise or an echo that makes that wonderful effect. Now, if you're going to go deeper with your pattern, which you can do, you wouldn't want to be sanding for the rest of your life. I mean, it would work, but you wouldn't want to be doing it. You would need to be a bit more aggressive about preparing your clay. Now, I hope this is going to work, because these stamps actually, there you go, that's fabulous. Now you can see that this is quite, a knife. You can see that this is quite deep. It's quite a lot deeper than the other stamp. And it wouldn't be ideal to try and sand that all off. I'd be here for the rest of my life. So I'm going to cut it out. Not necessarily the cutter I would use in reality, but there you go, it's the one on hand. Stick this to the tile, probably the best idea. And with that holding it in place, I can then curve my knife and start to take off a very small amount at a time to reveal the surface below. This is quite fiddly, and I don't mind telling you I'm pretty rubbish at it. I'm giving it a go. And we've been talking about, you know, whether people should only do things they're perfect at on over on Cindy Leetz's channel, Your Polymer Clay Tutor. And we've had discussions about it in my Facebook group that I belong to, which is HOP, Hooked on Polymer, which is a great group to belong to. And you know what? You don't have to be perfect at things. And I've already messed this up once and started the tutorial again, in case you wondered. So, you know, it's perseverance, isn't it? And I'm just going to show you this because it's so interesting. Now, obviously, you can finish this off with sanding because you've got a bit of a start to it, haven't you, if you do it with a knife? And that's not too bad. You can see from looking at that, I think, see how that kind of bruising has developed. And if you sand it down and then put something on it to make it shine or sparkle or jump out like the Renaissance wax does, that's when you get the effect. So as I say, you just bake those two, give them a good old sand, finish them off with something, and then you would glue them onto the card. I use Crafter's Pick, the Ultimate, but you can also use E6000 or something like that. And then you will get these kind of effects that I've got here. And that's it really, that's how simple it is. If you've got any questions, please ask me down below. Leave any comments, like, subscribe, all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. But most of all, you know, take heart, go out, play with your clay, and think how impressed people are going to be when you do this. And it's not hard, is it? Okay, thank you very much for watching. I'm having a blast, but 2 tutorials in 2 days is too much. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Bye bye.